happy birthday.
Like
I had to hide in my bag, but this is like
Thank you so much.
This is on behalf of all of us. We wanted to get you like cake, but I know that you're super no sugar, keto, whatever it is.
Keto,
so I
that's the name,
I'm
yeah.
giving you a little chocolate.
This is
Hopefully it's not stomped on. Hopefully Kevin didn't stomp on
now
it
even
during
better,
the
even better.
cockroach fiesta.
I want to say 3 good things about Jess that I appreciate about Jess. I'm going to run in a quick circle. So I'm going to make this really, really quick. Number 1. First of all, Jess, we really appreciate that you're a ball of energy and you give our podcast life. You give that feminine life that we love. Second thing, what I really appreciate about you, Jess, is that you're very well read and you're very well researched. So much so, I personally find myself always consuming reels but never going deep. And when you do a podcast, you go deep, and I really appreciate that about you. And so much so that I have decided to really get back into reading. I've even bought a Kindle. I bought a Kindle a few days ago.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm going to get really into reading.
Oh my God.
And the third thing I want to say is that, Jess, you are genuinely a good coach. I would say in many ways, sometimes we clash with each other on certain things, but you are an incredible coach. You hugely care about your clients and you actually care about getting them results. So that's on me. That's what I want to say to you.
Thank you.
Love you so much. Poya, go for it.
Thank you.
Jess, you are a good girl. No, you're a real one. You are the Christian dating expert. You are also a very great mum and great wife. I was going to say great husband, great wife. And you also know how to trigger people just right, like Goldilocks. And I like that. Not on the pod.
Yeah.
I get like a lot of my friends. Look, I'm going to be honest. A lot of my friends complain to me about you, and then I have to deal with it. But I'm like, you know what?
Sorry.
No. You're right. You're right. I agree with pretty much most of what you say now. Especially recently, I've changed it.
So you're on Team Jess.
Especially
all
recently.
your content, it attracts all the cockroaches.
Like the one that Josh just killed.
Yes, basically.
Had to kill it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's from me. Mad respect,
I'm
fam.
so sorry.
Why? No. I really like.
Terrible.
I back you, fam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mrs. Carlton. What can I say? From when we first met at Hillsong Conference 2015, I was like, there's no one like her.
Wow.
Echoing what Kev and Poya have said, but 100% ball of energy. Every time I introduce people to you, I'm like, oh yeah, you should meet Jess. I'm always like, yo, she is like the light in the room. Like, put her in a room and she's gonna like make it come alive. You are an amazing coach. Your passion for your clients and your passion for all things dating is actually so impressive, because most people like they'll take things at the surface, but Kevin's right. Like, you go deep, you're willing to explore, open your mind and see new perspectives, to see how can you learn, how can you be that much better. And that's something that has actually inspired me as well, and has made me say, like, you know what, that's what true passion and care for your clients is.
Yep.
And I get that from you as well, brother.
Thank you.
And thirdly, I think since we went through our own beef previously, I also now know, like, Jess is willing to fight for a friendship, you know, because sometimes you don't know how strong something is until you go through some stuff together.
I think you inspired me with that as well. Like, you've influenced me in a massive way to fight for your friendships.
Fight for your friendships. But, you know, you're worth it, and we came out better on the other side, and now it's BOB time, you know? That's how we do it.
Are we recording now?
Boys.
So,
This is recorded.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know we started.
He's
Yeah.
gonna be on the pod. He's gonna be on the
Yeah, you
pod.
caught a good gal.
So, by the way, this is just like, you know, we just, I know it seemed like we were bad friends because we kind of forgot your birthday, but we made up for it, yes?
Wait, did you talk about it on the first
We love you,
episode
we
about
love you.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. We
But,
didn't. We got told off
how
through
much,
the messages.
how much time do we have left for this episode?
We 45 minutes, right?
All right.
45 minutes. Yeah,
Alright.
cool. So, love you, Jess. Let's
Thank
get
you,
into it.
guys.
Poya, take it
Alright.
away.
Shout out to Jess. All right.
James.
Now, celebrations aside, let's, Okay, let's get heavy.
The celebration never ends.
Celebration never ends. Yeah, this is a pretty hard episode for me to record. So, some of you, if not most of you, maybe none of you know that I am the son of Iranian refugees. My parents had to leave Iran for various reasons. Separately, they met in Turkey, got married in Turkey, came over to Australia. I've had, yeah. Oh, man, this is actually a really hard episode to record. I grew up hearing stories of Iran, of what it was like pre-revolution, and hearing about the horrors of it post-revolution. I've heard the horrors that my family have had to go through and family friends have had to go through. I've heard the stories of friends escaping Iran, friends who've escaped on camelback, friends who are persecuted for their beliefs. Shout out to my Baha'i friends, people of the Baha'i faith who are heavily persecuted. I am not able to visit Iran. It is too dangerous for a variety of reasons. And for many years, I've always hoped for regime change in Iran. And now with the whole situation, it looks like it's possible, but I think there's just a lot of misinformation out there. I think a lot of people don't really understand what's going on. So today's episode is, I guess I'm trying to raise awareness about what's happening in Iran. I'm going to share a bit about my sort of experience with it, the experience of others I know, my understanding of the context. By no means I am an expert. I mean, I have never been able to touch Iranian soil. I struggle. I only know very little Farsi, which I'm planning on learning this year. But I'm still more qualified to talk about this than any non-Iranian is. So I encourage you to put all your biases aside, whether you're pro-Palestine, pro-Israel, pro-whatever, anti-US imperialism, pro-US imperialism, please just have an open mind and listen. And yeah, let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
Cool. All right, to start off.
You got this, Poya.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, the God's got this. That's it. What do you guys... So firstly, okay, context, we're third week of the war in Iran. US-Israel attacked about 2.5 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. And that's kind of the craziness we're in right now. Real quick, just like in a few sentences, what are your guys' thought? What do you know about Iran and the whole situation and Iran in general, Jess?
Just that like tens of thousands of people have been murdered, including children, which is really horrific, and that's really all I know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, you're not far off. Kevin?
I would say they've been murdered and brutally persecuted because of the Ayatollah and that regime, which is an evil regime. And I personally think that it is somehow the work of God using Trump, of America intervening and taking out that regime, and hopefully something good comes out of it.
Yeah. That's it. Thanks, Kev. Appreciate it.
What's your question again?
What's your understanding of Iran? I guess what's happening, or just Iran in general? What do you know about Iran?
I know that it is like in the Persian Gulf, that it has a very ancient history. I know that it's been a nation that has been antagonistic towards the US and Israel for decades now. And that is very much a hotbed for a lot of activity. I know that they provide a lot of the agriculture for a lot of the other Arabic nations around them. And that a lot of people have a lot of different viewpoints on what's going on right now because of it.
Yeah. No, awesome. All right. Thanks for your answers, guys. Yeah, I think a lot of you touched on a lot of important things. So I think just to start off, I'll just go a bit into the context of how Iran got to where it is now. And again, by no means I'm an expert. This is based on just whatever research I was able to do.
Just really quickly, I'll ask you a question.
Yes.
Why is it important for us to talk about this today?
Iran, I would say for me, well, one, we're in a war with the world. Like Iran is currently the big. How do I say this? Like it is the big war happening right now, Iran. I think as well as that, the
influences a lot.
The Islamic regime of Iran, which does not represent the people of Iran, yet it rules it, fund pretty much most of the terrorist networks around the world. They fund Hezbollah, Hamas, they fund other groups like Harat al-Najaba, the Houthis. So they are essentially imagine if all of those networks are part of this, all the networks embody the Hydra. They are the head of the Hydra, the regime. They fund it. They take money from Iranians and funnel it into those terrorist groups. So you take them out, those guys are done.
Wow.
So So they pretty much they're states. State-sponsored terrorism. That's what they do.
So I would say, based on what you're saying, today's conversation is about raising awareness, because it sounds like a lot of people don't know what's happening, don't really understand what's happening.
Don't really understand what's bringing their own biases in.
And they're bringing their own biases in, their own understanding. And today's conversation is about you giving your perspective of what's really going on.
That's right, yeah. And
Awesome.
look, again, I don't think I'm the most I'm the biggest expert on this. There's other people I want to get on this podcast and I'm going to try and get. But I think that I think I know enough to give a very broad overview and enough to tell you enough to make you guys realize how cooked Iran is as a country at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'll start off a bit with the history. So pre-1979, I think since the 40s that Iran was under a monarchy. So there was a king called the Shah. So he ruled Iran. Then I think it was like a republic, kind of like what UK has, where the prime minister kind of does everything, but there's a monarchy there as well. And then the CIA kind of got involved and then kind of took away power from the prime minister of Iran for whatever reason, and then the Shah had more power. He was a very controversial figure. He was very modern focused. He kind of turned Iran into a more Western country, which I think is a very good thing. He had he took Iran pretty much from being this, I guess, very developing nation into what could potentially have been a powerhouse nation. But yeah, it was not without controversy. Apparently there's a lot of class divide in Iran. He had his own secret police apparently. He would arrest and torture people. There was a few other things as well. And then, I think a lot of people in Iran were unhappy. And I guess this is to quote my mom, people didn't really see the vision that he had. She was actually against the Shah. And now, decades on from that, she's like, I was wrong. He actually had great ambitions for Iran and truly loved Iran. That's her opinion. I think seems like, for what I've read, that seemed to be the case. And then, pretty much one thing led to another. He ended up being exiled, so he left, flew to Egypt. I think he died in Egypt. He was quite sick, so him and his family left. And then this man called Ruhollah, I always struggle to say his name, Ruhollah Khomeini, who was an extremist Shia Muslim cleric, came in and rallied the people up, promised them a much better life, promised to stop the class divide, all these other things, and teamed up we used the communists to help get in, and then instituted the Islamic regime of Iran. So imagine Australia gets turned into a Sharia law run, like a state that is run based on Sharia law, and the next day, right? So Jess, imagine tomorrow you are forced to wear a hijab, fully cover up. Imagine that in the constitution, your value, this is the Iranian constitution, you have half the value of a man. You're not allowed to sing in public. You're not allowed to dance in public. Women have very little rights when it comes to divorce and custody rights. And I've actually, I'm going to pull up my notes
of like one of the dumb rules that they have.
Let me find. Well, I mean, not being able to sing and dance, not being able to sing and dance in public, having to fully cover up. There's a whole bunch of notes I have here. This is like.
Well, what are the ones about divorce and stuff?
The divorce one. Let me find it. So I had them before. Here we go. I've got just like my notes are scattered. Here we go. Okay.
So there's clearly no buskers or street performers.
No. I think one of the big things from what I can see is that fathers, they get more favor in custody battles, which I guess is the opposite of Western societies. Actually, a really good example of this is a movie called Not Without My Daughter, where an Iranian man. Yeah, so that's and that doesn't represent Iranians. That represents the cooked Iranians. The ones, and so pretty much that movie is there's an Iranian immigrant to America, marries an American woman, takes her back to Iran for a holiday, then decides he wants to stay there, and she can't leave with her daughter because of the Iranian laws that rob her of her rights. So she, if I'm correct,
and he also starts beating up on her, like.
Really?
Yeah, domestic violence starts.
So then she has to escape Iran with her daughter to get back to the US. And so it's a true story that they made into a film. I haven't seen the film, but I've read up on the plot. So that's probably the best example of something they called.
Old movie.
Yeah, from the 90s, Sally Field. And shout out to Alfred Molina, really good in Boogie Nights as well. Actually, don't watch that if you're a Christian. It's a bit spicy. Great movie though. Pretty much Iran turned into a society where it was Sharia law. Apostasy from Islam can result in imprisonment and also death. And then afterwards, they started rounding up a lot of the communists and
Sorry, what's apostasy? Like
leaving the Islamic faith.
Oh. Okay.
So for me, yeah, I probably can't go to Iran because I'm a very open Christian and I'm technically from Islamic line, even though my dad was never Muslim.
Yeah.
If someone was to ever go back to Islam again, is that still?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, if you leave it, like, can you go back? It's like, bang, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe they might torture you into like recommitting, but I don't know. I can't say. But it's a good question. But yeah, needless to say, there's no religious freedom then. There, Baha'is are heavily persecuted. A lot of Baha'is have had to leave Iran. I'm not fully aware of the extent of the persecution. I think a lot of it's also around. I think one thing I do know, a lot of it is they have very little career opportunities or job opportunities. So I think a lot of them who studied in uni got certain qualifications were no longer able to work in those fields and had to be bus drivers and things like that.
So men and women.
Men and women, but the Baha'i community in particular, for some reason, very heavily persecuted by Islamic regime. Okay. There are examples where children, I know of a story, this is a true story, where a child was eating bread during Ramadan, during the daytime. The Revolutionary Guard, I believe, saw him, took him, and whipped him 40 times, which is apparently in line with what's in Islamic law. And again, I'm not trying to like, criticize Islam. I'm just saying that's what happened. That's what's there.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
This is someone I know personally.
We're obviously talking about a very radical form of Islam.
Yeah, a very radical form of Islam, and this is why I'm very against theocracy,
Mm-hmm.
which is religious governments, and why I'm very wary. But I also think there is an argument to be made that there's some beliefs which I think the Christian belief recently I've become a lot more like I'm more open to a Christian theocracy, but then again, that could also raise some problems where you get a Christian nationalism, but that's a whole other thing. So Iran has essentially gone from a society where people were free, where women could wear bikinis and skirts and go to university and all that, to where they are forced to cover up, where they have no rights, and where children are whipped for eating bread during Ramadan in the daylight. So that's where we are now. What are your thoughts so far?
Oh my gosh, just absolute bonkers. Like, that's, to say the least, that's awful.
How long, like you said it was a lot more open and a lot more free, and then the change came in. How long did it take for the change to come in?
That's a good
question.
question.
In 5 years or 10 years?
I don't know. I think it was probably pretty quickly.
Wow.
Because I think we were just done with the Shah. Yeah, we might bring on. That's a good question. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that, but we'll bring on. There's some people I know who grew up in Iran that I want to bring on. I think they'd be able to talk to it as well. But yeah, I have to be honest here. I don't actually know how long it took for that to happen, but it happened pretty quickly. Because I knew someone who, pretty soon after the regime came in power, they were rounded up and arrested, in prison for 5 years and tortured, and then finally released and had to escape Iran. And I've had friends who, have been to Iran and have been arrested because their skirt was maybe a bit too short. I was talking to someone the other week who was Iranian and said that she was arrested because they thought her brother was her boyfriend. And what they did is they separated them, asked her something like, what is this thing in your house? What color is it? And then asked him the same question. And then because the answers matched up, they're like, oh, so you are definitely related. But that's just the level of like, just
ridiculousness,
muppetry that this regime, but they're sick, they're twisted people.
Wow.
And so that's only the tip of the iceberg. So that's and there's also Khomeini, the first dictator, decreed that any virgin women who are arrested must be raped so they don't go to heaven. So this is the kind of thing we're dealing with. These are these extremist bastards. What they'll do is I'm
curious because I did hear that. What was the context in which he said something like that?
Bro, maybe it's in the Quran. I don't know. I don't know. But he said that, and that is true. That is, like, my parents have confirmed. I've had other family members confirm it. And the thing is, what they do. These are the stories I've heard. And this is what's happened to people I'm related to. They will arrest people, not tell them where their family is. They won't tell the family anything, right? And if you speak out against them, they won't just go after you. They go after your family, right? And so this is actually, I don't know if you guys have heard about what happened with the Iranian soccer team, the women's soccer team.
No. They had
Is
a
this
soccer
about them
team.
asking for asylum?
Asking for asylum. So this is very recently, in the last few weeks. They came to Australia to play in the Asia Cup. And then during the Iranian national anthem, they stood silent in solidarity with the Iranian people.
Wow.
And now the regime has threatened their families. They got asylum to stay in Australia, but now they're flying back pretty much because they've started kidnapping their family members. And there's a good chance that they could probably get killed and probably get raped and killed as well.
That's terrible.
This is what it is. This is what we're doing. And then this brings us to 2026. So for 47 years, the regime's been in power. And during that time, maybe about every 10 to 20 years, there's another uprising, right? Where there's a series of protests where people, and it looks like the regime's about to go, and every time they massacre.
Get shut down with killing.
They get shut down, yeah, they get massacred. So are you guys aware of any of this?
Yeah. Like basically, there was the most recent one.
There was one before that, though, in
There was a
2009.
recent one about like you're saying like
Oh,
a
Mahsa
woman. Yeah. Like a woman who. Tell about the woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So there's
And
one
then
in...
after that, tell us about the 09 one as well.
Well, I'll go to the 09 real quick. I have to look more into it, but I remember that I was in high school when that happened, and I knew some people who were actually involved in those protests, there's definitely like PTSD from that. But pretty much from what I remember, there was a rigged election, but I think there was more than that. But also Iran doesn't have a democracy. So the Iran is ruled by an Ayatollah, who was the religious figure. So first was Khomeini. He died 10 years later. Then Khamenei came in. Khamenei was the one who just died a few weeks ago in the first strike. And then, there's a president, but like the real power sits with the Ayatollah. And
Which is apparently, from what I've understood, is like a bigger thing than like the king. It's like huge.
Oh no, he's their pope.
He's like the great leader. He's like
The supreme leader.
the supreme leader.
Yeah, supreme leader.
Yeah.
Emperor Palpatine vibes if you guys watch Star Wars. So, 2009 there was all these riots, and then it looked like there was a chance of regime change. They just slaughtered everyone. I know people who were with their friends got shot in front of them.
Terrible.
And then 4 years ago, do you guys know who Mahsa Amini is? The woman. Have you heard of Woman, Life, Freedom? That statement.
No.
That's all right. I don't expect you guys to, because no one really reported on it.
Wow.
4 years at the end of 2022, there was a woman, 20 years old, called Mahsa Amini. She had a bit of hair sticking out of her hijab.
No, you said that, yes.
And she got arrested by the morality police, and they beat her, raped her, and killed her. And they said she died of a heart attack. Didn't tell her family anything. They just took her in a van, beat her, raped her, killed her. That set off a series. For the last 4 years, there's been protests and riots in Iran against the regime for women's rights. Women have been burning their hijabs, tearing them off. There's been women walking around Iran in their bra and panties as a form of protest.
Wow.
Women dancing in the streets as a form of protest, and they've been getting rounded up and killed. And it's all been building up to the January protests and riots. So Iran, from my understanding, is in a pretty bad situation economically, like really bad.
I was going to ask
Yeah,
about the
and
situation.
so there's been sanctions from the
Wow.
US and things like that. But
How long
really,
have those sanctions been going on for? Do you know?
apparently I've heard from since like the regime came
What
in.
happens in a sanction?
That's a good question, Josh.
Essentially, I guess the US will be like, no one trade with them. So if you do trade with them, the US will probably penalize you in some way
Got
or form. But essentially, it's like it basically says like they're blackballed
No
from
export,
from the
no
economy.
import. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Also, feel free to interrupt me, guys, as well, because I don't want this
No,
to be
you're
the play
cooking.
show.
You're
But
cooking, bro.
yes, exactly what Josh said. I think he articulated better than I could. And so, to be honest, I don't fully understand sanctions. I know it's something to do with the economy and like banning some form of trade. So thank you for articulating that properly, Josh. And so, the economy's been tanking in Iran, but the Iranian regime has held the wealth for themselves, and then have also distributed the wealth to their terrorist proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah, etc. So I was talking to a friend who was in Iran recently, and he says like no one can even afford a bowl of gourmet sabzi, which is this Iranian stew, which should be pretty relatively cheap
So
to
they're
buy.
in poverty, then.
Yeah, they're in poverty.
So, Poya, is this almost everyone in Iran?
That's a good question. I'm not sure, but it's enough that I would say it's most of Iran from what I've seen. And I think the big thing is that the bazaars were unable to sell anything because of how bad the economy was.
Wow.
And the last time the bazaars started like going like protesting and all that was when the revolution happened. So then they started rising up and being like, sort of going against the regime, which then kind of kicked off this even more intense series of protests and riots. Against the regime. People just had enough. And then what happened was the regime cut off the internet. So for most of this year, Iran has had the internet cut off. Shout out to Elon Musk for Starlink. That's the only way people have been able to talk to their families. I've had trouble talking to my friends because of the internet blackouts. I've had to help friends in there, and then I couldn't chat to them. I didn't even know if they were alive. And then a few days later, it turns out they were, which was good. But they've cut off the internet. Sorry?
I was wondering if they still have internet. 'Cause I heard that.
No,
China
not at the moment.
Basically,
Not at the moment.
cut
No.
out Starlink.
They've cut out. Yeah, no access to Starlink, no internet there, and even
so no internet in Iran at all.
so completely disconnected, which is really good for the regime, and I'll get into that.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So the regime cut off the internet, which means they're going to town. So what they did, and I've seen videos, pretty horrific
killing
stuff.
people, yeah.
Killing people, not just killing them, using laser targeting them, mow down people. I've seen videos. They went to hospitals, shot people in the head in hospitals. I've seen videos and photos. It's horrific stuff. They brought in. I've actually got a list of some of the proxies they brought in. So looks like they brought in Kataib, if I'm saying that right, Hezbollah, Harat al-Nayab, Najaba, I don't know how to say some of these names, Saeed al-Shuhada. They brought them in to mow down people. There's videos I've seen of that as well. They're in a truck. I've seen videos of the regime, of IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, of their members in SUVs running over people. I can happily show anyone these videos. If you doubt this, I will happily send these videos to you.
Oh, no,
and you'll be as traumatized as I am. It's great.
Poya, just a change of pace of question. I'm
Go.
really curious about this, right? And I'm really curious about, obviously, for all the people who carry out this type of evil, I'm curious as to whether you know how they're brainwashed. What's the process of what are the narratives that they are told in order to carry out such evil?
It's
That's a
just,
great question.
I think it just ties into this thing of that we need belief in something. We need something to drive us and give us purpose.
Yeah.
So I think we're all driven by an ideology, whether we want to admit it or not. So they're driven by an ideology of extremist Shia Islam. Extremist Shia Islam.
So it's basically like, okay, go and kill the infidels, and like they're not listening, that type of thing.
Well, it's like, yeah, you're on a mission from God. This is God ordained. There's
Yeah,
that, but then there's
right.
another aspect. So there's the aspect of greed and power, right? And so some people, a lot of people and I've talked to a few Iranians have told me this. People who actually grew up in the regime, they've told me that what a lot of people who are like, you know, in with the regime and you know will support them and work for them don't even believe in it. But do it because it benefits them.
Yeah.
And also, apparently, half the mullahs and all
It's
all the,
self-preservation, probably.
it's 100%. But it's like
Yeah.
it's just and that's a whole animal versus human nature, right? And also, apparently, half the mullahs are gay. So anyway, there you go. But they have to be homophobic because they're religion. But apparently, they do all this crazy stuff behind closed doors.
I feel like there's
Suppression.
so many threads you can
There's
open
so
up
many
with this
threads.
topic. Question, just
Yeah.
in regards to the two Islam sects, Shia versus
Sunnis.
Sunnis.
Is anyone familiar with like what is the actual difference between those two sects?
Good question.
It's very similar to denomination. It's like a different denomination, but they're very, very against each other.
Apparently, yeah. I don't fully understand it. I know that one of them believes in another prophet called Ali or something. But I'm not sure. But I know that Shias are like 10% of like the Muslim
And
population.
that's Iran.
And that's Iran. And that's actually what I think what Iran's trying to do now is rally up all the Shiites to create a holy war. Because they're like, we're being attacked, we're being persecuted. So there's a lot to unpack there.
Is there any way to escape?
Iran? Or
Yeah, Iran at the moment that people are finding. Not that you should say it on camera necessarily, but like
I don't know. I've had friends who escaped in a variety of ways where they've had to pay people to like, and that's always a risk. I might not I won't name the methods. I named one earlier. I know people have escaped it through animals, like riding like horses and whatever, camels and things like that. Like you can escape. Like I've had friends and family who've escaped, but it's a traumatic experience. And
yeah, of course.
it's very risky.
Goodness.
And there's something else I wanted to touch on. Yeah, so there was I just want to circle back to the last 2 months. How much more time do we have left, Nick? 10 minutes, okay. Last 2 months, pretty much there's been all these riots and things happening, and the regime's just been slaughtering people. They've been killing women, raping them. What they've done is they've removed the uterus to hide evidence of the rape.
Oh my
They've killed
gosh.
tens of thousands of children, so they've executed them. They've shot babies in the head. There was one baby that was shot in the head in January. They've killed Iranian athletes who went against the regime. They've kidnapped Iranian tennis player posted on his Insta story against the Ayatollah in Feb 24th. He's been kidnapped. No one knows where he is.
Wow.
They also have done attacks in Australia. So I want to actually be accurate and find it, but
Oh my goodness.
IRGC. Let's Google it. Let's Google it right now.
Interesting.
crazy.
So
Crazy.
here we go. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember, December 2024, there was an attack on a synagogue in Melbourne. So they set it on fire. And there was also a Jewish
synagogue.
a Jewish synagogue and a Jewish restaurant.
Oh my god.
That was also attacked. Can't remember where that was. Both of those were revealed to be attacks done by agents of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, and that is why the Iranian ambassador was sent back.
Wow.
So they've done attacks on Australian soil.
Wow.
They have agents here. They have agents everywhere. And I was actually scared to do this episode because I don't know what. Yeah.
Is it agents or is it just like just random extremists that would have heard something on the
No,
news?
agents, and probably
Really?
random extremists.
How do we know they're agents and not just like people who just have?
That's a
these
great
narratives?
question. I don't know, but the government knew enough to be like, we're sending the ambassador back. So this,
And they are organized as well. Like they have systems and structures on how they carry this stuff out.
Yeah, like I can't go. I don't know the specifics. I know I saw it in the news article and in numerous news articles, and then obviously the Australian government and intelligence agencies knew enough to be like, we're going to send an ambassador back, which I don't think is something they would ever do lightly.
What does it mean to send an ambassador back?
It's-
Like, as in, like, we don't want to have a what do you call it? A partnership with your
Yeah,
country.
pretty much.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I don't know if they brought. I don't know if they brought the ambassador back. Because I'm not sure. I haven't been up to that, but I remember that happened, and people were like, "What the heck? Oh, that's racism and stuff." But no, like they did. Yeah.
Question for you,
Yeah,
because obviously, you being Iranian, you're very close to this situation, and obviously the internet has like captured it, and then you've seen it turn into its own war zone, and
Yeah, man.
you've also shared you've had a lot of interactions with people about this. Can you kind of share what conversations you've been having with people, like the for, against, the madness, like what have you been exposed to since this has been heating up?
Yeah, that's a good question. This actually ties in a third thing I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, so it's the tricky. So, I guess I'll start with last year. Last year, Israel and US bombed Iran, and they took out a lot of their nuclear capability and killed their top nuclear scientist. Most Iranians in the diaspora, which is the Iranians who live outside of Iran, and I would even argue most Iranians in Iran, supported this.
Wow.
Because because it was it's a chance of the regime being taken out. And since then, we've all been hoping and rallying for Israel and US to team up. Now, I want to be clear, I am not fully aware of the Israel-Palestine situation. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough. You're welcome to send me resources. I'm not saying that I support what Israel's doing there. I'm not saying that I don't support what Israel's doing there. All I'm saying is they are probably our only hope of being liberated from this regime.
Wow.
And we know, we are aware that they don't have altruistic intentions. They definitely have their own agendas, but we don't care because life in Iran is so horrific, where children are being executed, women are being executed and raped. Men and just anyone. Even there's no value for human life there, where people are being kidnapped and murdered without their families knowing anything. Where people are murdered for saying the wrong thing, where people are murdered for not following the government ordained religion, where people have to be careful of even how they call their family members. We have to be careful about what we say to them on the phone.
Wow.
We can't criticize the regime. We can't even talk. I can't even share my faith.
Wow.
My whole life I've had to live with that. I'd be careful what I say on the phone to family back home.
So everything's being recorded.
Everything's being monitored and recorded. You never know. It's not a risk you can take. Yeah, I just think that there's been times where I've had my mum's like, don't say that. Dad's like, don't say that. Even like I'm like genuinely like nervous now about what could happen. But I think I want to raise awareness. I got to use this platform. I think the big thing there, and then now what's happened is, we were getting slaughtered by the regime. We tried to do it ourselves and we couldn't. And now Israel and US, this is very, I think there's a great opportunity for them to do their thing with Iran. They've come in. And a lot of Iranians, we wanted this. We were hoping for this. A lot of us in the diaspora, a lot of Iranians in Iran, I've seen videos were begging Donald Trump to attack. And we're all pissed off at him because he wasn't. It's not even me, and I'm very clear. I'm not saying I agree with Trump on everything. I'm not saying I endorse him. All I'm saying is I can side with him here.
Yeah.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so for anyone who wants to turn this into, I'm a right-wing person or I'm a Zionist or whatever, which also Zionist just means that you think the Jewish people should have their own home, which I actually think is fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what this is. I want Iran to be free. I want my family to be free. I want to be able to go to the home of my ancestors. I want to go to where my parents grew up. That's what I want. And so, it's kind of turned into this whole thing of like, the left have really hijacked this and have pretty much been doing the regime's dirty work for them. So
How do you mean?
So the internet's cut off. Well, the internet's cut off again in Iran, which is great for the regime because now they're spewing out all this fake information. There's a lot of discourse around this school that got blown up in Iran, which is absolute tragedy. The tragedy of any child dying is just like horrendous. I think it's very likely that it could have been US, Israel. I think it's also just as likely it could have been the regime because the regime would do that. Because what a better way than to build up people to go on their side. I don't know who did it. I've seen conflicting reports. But what I do know is this. A lot of the people on the left who keep talking about the school, not one of them talked about the children who died in Iran in the last 2 months. So one of them talked about the women who were raped and murdered in the last 2 months. And I've had people message me saying, oh, you want war in Iran? What about all the children are going to die as a result of it? And I'm like, bro, have you not seen my Instagram stories? Have you not paid attention? It's not that much different from before. Children are still dying. This is like children were going to die anyway. And I'm not saying that excuses it. But the fact is, it's not different. The only difference
the lesser
is...
of two evils.
It's only the lesser. It's just not different. Children are going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Except the difference is this is the only chance that they stop dying. Maybe. Yeah. And I hope to God that Israel and US had a plan when they did this, because if they don't, the regime are going to come down harder. Like, and this is the thing. And then all these left-wing people saying like Trump's as bad as Netanyahu's as bad as the Ayatollah. If you truly think that, you are a fool. Why don't you go live in one of those countries? Go live in Iran.
Yeah.
Yeah, when this war is over, the regime still stands. Why don't you go live in Iran?
Yeah.
Go live in Afghanistan. Go live in these countries if you hate the West so much. Go there. See what rights you have. You have nothing. It's just a bunch of people who are privileged that don't have any sense of purpose in their life and have to hijack something and make it about themselves. It's moral narcissism at its finest. And I've had people message me saying like, oh, how come you don't talk about Gaza? I hope you're as passionate about what's happening in Gaza. I'm like, I'm Iranian. I'm not going to tell a Palestinian off for not talking about Iran. They're not going to be thinking about Iran. They're going to be thinking about their family in Gaza. I'm not going to say to a Palestinian, oh, I hope you're just as passionate about children being killed in Iran. It's not their fight to fight. No, it's not their battle to fight. I don't expect that of them.
Yeah.
My issue is with the people who aren't Iranian, who aren't even Palestinian, that then have hijacked this and made this a thing about Israel and Zionism and imperialism when it's so much more than that. It's about destroying. It's about like if the regime is gone, like the Middle East will be a significantly safer place, because all these proxies that are funded, that are destabilizing countries, that are murdering innocent people, are gone. And the left have really, really failed Iranians. I've had some, and I'm not going to attack all of the left. There's been a lot of left-wing people who've been lovely. A mutual friend of ours, Kevin, I'll tell you after, messaged me saying, I actually want to read their message out. I can't be able to find it. You know what? We're running out of time. How much more time do we have, Nick? 3 minutes? All right, we'll wrap this up. Well, one of them said something to the extent of, I know a lot of us white leftists can, make things about us and like take the nuance out. I'm looking forward to learning more about this, and I appreciate you sharing. So I don't want to attack all of the left. There's a lot of wonderful people on the left, a lot of wonderful friends of mine who fight for Palestinian rights that have messaged me and have congratulated me when the Ayatollah was taken out. And like we're seeing me messages of encouragement saying we hope that Iran is free. The battle is still going. The regime's not out yet. There's still plenty of work to do. But yeah, I've had people say to me like, question whether have said to me it's a bit presumptuous of you to want war when you're so far away from it. I'm like, dude, I'm echoing the voice of what people in Iran are saying. I'm not trying to say my opinion here. I'm trying to say what I've seen them say, what I've seen the videos from Iran say, and people have said, oh, where are the sources for all of this, all that. I've literally seen the videos from this.
And they're dying for someone over where we are to speak about it as well.
Exactly. They want us to speak for them. And I feel very unqualified here, and I was very nervous to do this because I didn't want to get things wrong, and I might have got some things wrong, but I think honestly, I think I've got most of it right, and I'm definitely more qualified to talk about it than a lot of people, including like the Young Turks who've been horrible, Grace Tame who's done amazing work actually advocating for women and abuse victims, but has really failed Iranians by pretty much only posting anti-war content. Didn't post about anything about, I follow her on Insta, didn't post anything about Iran in the last 2 months, and now posting all this stuff about how many children are killed, all this, how the US and Israel are bombing, but nothing about what the regime does to its own people. Just last week, the regime were going to residential buildings, massacring people. I've seen videos, can happily send it to you if you want me. Slide into our DMs, we'll send it. and it's just like it's just racist. Part of it's just racism. It's like the whole thing of like, you brown man, you listen to me. I the white person know better. That's what it feels like. And so the left, particularly a lot of which are white, not all, have really failed Iranians and have silenced us and have had no humility when we try to like share our experience. It's just crazy, man. But
what would you say? Because there's different groups that are listening and all that kind of stuff. What would you want to leave listeners with?
Yeah, I think we got to wrap up because we're running out of time. We'll probably do another episode on this. But for now, this is what I have to say to those, especially on the left. Please just listen. Listen to Iranians. Go to rallies. Talk to Iranians. Go to a Persian church service. Many Iranians there have had to escape because they've chosen to be Christians. Listen to their stories. Please don't turn this into an Israel-Palestine thing. It is so much more than that. Please just understand that we know that this isn't a great situation, but it's all we have. And I want to say something to the regime as well. I want you to know that God loves you, that the God you believe in won't save you, but there is a God who will save you. And that God came to earth as a man called Jesus, and he died for all of our sins. He died for your sins, and he died for my sins, and he loves you, and he wants to have a relationship with you. And if there's anything that anyone takes away from this episode, it's not about even what's happening in Iran. It's this, that we are all sinners deserving of God's wrath. I am a sinner, the people in the regime, the people who were victims of the regime. And before God, we are all terrible people, and we need to be saved. And Jesus took the price for our sins. So to anyone in the regime, to anyone who supports the regime, if you're going to I'm not even going to wish anything bad on you. I just hope you know the love of Jesus, and I hope it transforms your heart. I'm going to post some links in the show notes that will... I guess that if you want more information on Iran, from more knowledgeable sources. But thanks for listening, guys. We'll probably do another episode. Please pray for Iran.